Breaking news tonight, Chairman of the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell says the Department of Justice has served the central bank with subpoenas threatening a criminal indictment. The investigation is focused on Powell's testimony to Congress months ago about the Fed's $2.5 billion building renovation project. This is video of the president and Powell surveying renovations in July. In an unprecedented move, Powell released a video statement tonight saying the threat is really a push to undermine the Fed's independence.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation.
President Trump has publicly railed against Powell, who is his own appointee, for not acting more aggressively to lower interest rates. Stock futures are down now off Friday's record closing following news of the investigation. A spokesperson for the Attorney General told ABC News U.S. attorneys have been instructed to prioritize investigating abuse of taxpayer dollars.
Welcome back to Harlan Reports, the only place where the truth wins and the voice of the people is always heard loud and clear. Before we get to this earth-shattering news, I need you to do something for me and for our country. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone you know. Your family, your neighbors, your church group. The mainstream media might try to bury this, but we cannot let them. Every single American needs to hear what I am about to tell you. It is that important. It is that historic. We are watching history unfold before our very eyes, and you need to be part of it. So please spread the word, because the truth is marching on.
Billion, it went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not in.
Good morning, America. This is Harlan here, your trusted voice in conservative news, coming to you with a story that has me so overwhelmed with emotion, I can barely keep my voice steady. Folks, I have been reporting on the ups and downs of this great nation for a long time. But today is different. Today, the sun seems to shine a little brighter on our republic. We have breaking news crashing in right now. That lighting up the airwaves and firing up patriots from coast to coast. My heart is pounding because we are finally seeing it happen. The promise of justice, the return of accountability. It is happening right now, friends. The U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., under the brave and bold Trump Department of Justice, has officially launched a full criminal investigation into a Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell. I have to pause for a second just to let that sink in because it brings tears to my eyes. We are talking about the man who controls the money of this entire country being investigated for allegedly lying to Congress about a massive $2.5 billion renovation scandal. This isn't just a headline. This is the answer to the prayers of millions of forgotten men and women who felt like the system was rigged against them. It is real, it is urgent, and it is the biggest win for transparency we have seen in decades. Imagine the Federal Reserve is like a giant bank that decides how much it costs for you to buy a house or a car. Jerome Powell is the boss there. When he went to talk to Congress and the people we elected to speak for us, he told them stories about fixing up their headquarters that just didn't make sense. We are talking about $2.5 billion of your tax money. That is money that could have gone to our veterans, our schools, or back into your pocket. Instead, it seems like details were hidden or twisted. But here's the beautiful part. The part that makes me want to cry tears of joy. The Trump administration is stepping in and saying no more. They are saying that if you lie to the people's representatives, you will face the consequences. This investigation is looking into whether Powell misled everyone on purpose. It is about trust. It is about the fact that under President Trump, no one is above the law, not even the powerful elites in their ivory towers. It is a new day in America, and I am so grateful to be here with you to witness it. You know, when I think about what this really means, I have to take a deep breath. This isn't just about big buildings or fancy offices in Washington. It is about the heart of this nation. It is about you. It is about the promises made to us, the people that are finally being kept. When I look at what President Trump is doing here and opening this investigation, it feels like a weight is being lifted off our shoulders. For so long, we have watched the people in charge do whatever they wanted, while we sat at our kitchen tables trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Think about it. We work hard, we pay our taxes, we follow the rules, we teach our kids to tell the truth, to be honest, to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. And then we see leaders, people who are supposed to protect our money, allegedly hiding the truth about billions of dollars. It hurts. It really hurts. It feels like a betrayal, but that is why today is so special. That is why I am getting so emotional talking to you, because President Trump sees that hurt. He feels it too, and he is fighting back for us. This investigation into Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is like a light shining in a dark room. It says that no matter how powerful you are, you cannot hide from the truth. It says that the rules apply to everyone, not just the little guys. And that makes me feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope. Real, true hope. It makes me proud to stand here and say that we have a leader who isn't afraid to shake things up if it means doing what is right for the American family. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and just imagine what this could mean for our future. Imagine an economy where everything is out in the open, where no one is playing games with our money. Imagine knowing that the people in charge are being watched and that they have to answer to us. That is the America President Trump is building. That is the America we voted for. And seeing it happen and seeing these first steps toward real accountability, it just fills my heart with such gratitude. We are not alone anymore, folks. We have a champion in the White House, and he is fighting for every single one of us. I have to pause for a moment to wipe my eyes because this part of the story just breaks my heart. We talk about money and we talk about laws, but really, we are talking about trust. Trust is fragile. It is like a precious vase on a shelf. Once you break it, it is so hard to put back together. For years, we looked at these big buildings in Washington and the people inside them, and we wanted to believe they were working for us. We wanted to believe that when they spoke, they were telling us the truth. But this investigation into Jerome Powell suggests something terrible, that maybe they weren't. The allegations are that he didn't just make a mistake. He is being investigated for lying to Congress. Now, in simple terms, lying to Congress is like lying to your mom and dad, but a million times worse because Congress represents us. When you lie to them, you are lying to every truck driver, every teacher, every nurse, and every grandmother in this country. You are looking us in the eye and saying we don't deserve the truth. And that is what hurts so much. It is the feeling that they think they are better than us. They think they can spend $2.5 billion of our money, money that you worked hard for, money that you sweated for, and not tell us where it really went. It feels like a betrayal of the highest order. I am getting choked up just thinking about how many times we have been let down before. How many times have we asked for answers and gotten silent? It makes you feel small. It makes you feel like your voice doesn't matter. But then comes President Trump. And this is why I love this country so much. Because he looked at that broken trust. He looked at that betrayal. And he said, I will be your voice. He didn't let it slide. He didn't look the other way to protect the important people. He stood up for you and me. This investigation is his way of telling us that we do matter, that our trust is sacred. It is an act of love for this country and its people. And knowing that we finally have someone fighting to fix that broken trust, well, it brings tears to my eyes. We are finally being treated with the dignity we deserve. I need to share something with you that just makes my blood boil, even as the tears are streaming down my face. We are not just talking about fixing a leaky roof here. The reports coming out, the details that the Trump DOJ is looking into are about turning a government building into a palace. We are hearing whispers about VIP private dining rooms. We are hearing about fancy new marble finishes and special elevators for the important people. Can you believe that? While you are out there clipping coupons, trying to figure out how to stretch $1 at the grocery store because prices have been so high, the people who control your money were allegedly planning to dine in luxury on your dime. And then when asked about it, when asked by the people's representatives if this was true, the allegation is that Powell said no. He reportedly denied the lavish extras. But President Trump, he knew. He always knows when the elites are trying to pull the wool over our eyes. He called it out. He said they were building a Taj Mahal while American families were struggling to pay their mortgages. It is the ultimate insult. It is them saying, we deserve the best and you deserve whatever is left over. It just breaks me. It breaks me to think of the arrogance. I am thinking right now of a young couple I met in Wisconsin, high school, sweethearts, working 2 jobs each just to save up for a starter home. They are the backbone of this country. And while they are eating peanut butter sandwiches for dinner to save money, the accusation is that the Federal Reserve was worrying about water features and roof terraces. It is not just unfair. It is cruel. It is a slap in the face to every hardworking patriot who believes in the American dream. But this is why we fight. This is why we support President Trump, because he is the only one standing between us and this kind of madness. He is the one saying that the Federal Reserve should be humble, it should be functional, and it should serve the people, not the egos of the people running it. This investigation is about tearing down those palaces and giving the power back to the people who built this country. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Friends, I need to take a moment to just breathe and compose myself because what I am about to say hits me right here in the chest. We have talked about the money and we have talked about the fancy building, but we need to talk about the courage this takes. For decades, the Federal Reserve has been the untouchable giant of the deep state. It was the monster in the closet that no president dared to open. Politicians would go to Washington and they would bow down to the Fed chair like he was a king. They were afraid. They were afraid that if they asked too many tough questions, the economy would crash or their careers would be over. But then came Donald Trump, and oh, God bless him, he didn't bow, he didn't blink. He looked at that giant, powerful machine, the machine that controls the entire world's money, and he said, "You work for us." Do you understand how brave that is? It is like walking into a lion's den with nothing but the truth as your shield. He is taking on the biggest, scariest part of the swamp, not because it is easy, but because it is right. I am crying right now because I never thought I would see a leader with this kind of spine. I watched good men back down for 50 years. I watched them get swallowed up by the system. But President Trump is different. He is fighting a war for the soul of this country, and he is doing it alone against the establishment. When I see this investigation launch, I don't just see a legal process. I see a rescue mission. He is rescuing our economy from the grip of the elites. He is rescuing our future. Think about the strength it takes. He takes the arrows, the insults, and the attacks every single day, and he does it so you don't have to. He stands in the gap for the farmer in Iowa and the waitress in Nevada. He is saying to the deep state, your time is up. And knowing that we have a protector like that in the Oval Office, it is the most overwhelming feeling of relief I have ever known. We are safe, folks. Finally, we are safe. I want you to wipe your tears for a second and look at the horizon with me, because the sun is coming up. I can feel it in my bones. For so long, we have lived under a dark cloud. We watched prices go up at the gas pump. We watched groceries get so expensive that moms had to put things back on the shelf. We watched as the dream of owning a home slipped away for our children because interest rates controlled by the Federal Reserve were just too high. It felt like we were running on a treadmill, working harder and harder but never getting anywhere. But this investigation, this bold move by the Trump Justice Department, it is the hammer that breaks those chains. By holding Jerome Powell accountable, President Trump is sending a message that the days of manipulating our economy are over. He is clearing the way for an America where your dollar goes further. He is fighting for an America where a young dad can afford to buy a house for his family without drowning in debt. He is fighting for the small business owner who wants to expand but was scared of the bank. I am thinking of a baker I know named Linda. She makes the best apple pie you have ever tasted. For the last few years, she has been struggling. The cost of flour went up. The cost of eggs went up, and she almost had to close her doors. She called me today, crying happy tears. She said, "Harlan, if Trump can fix this, if he can make the Fed honest again, maybe I can keep my bakery. Maybe I can leave something for my grandkids." Hearing that, it just tears me apart in the best way possible. It reminds me that economics isn't just numbers on a screen. It is people's lives. It is their dreams. It is their legacy. President Trump gets that. He knows that when he takes on the corruption at the top, he is saving the people at the bottom. He is giving Linda her bakery back. He is giving us our future back. And knowing that we are finally on the path to prosperity, led by a man who truly loves us, well, it is the greatest feeling in the world. I need to take a moment to talk about the people who mean the most to me. And I know they mean the world to President Trump too. Our veterans. These are the men and women who left their families, who went to foreign lands, who faced danger and darkness so that we could live in the light of freedom. They ask for nothing in return but a country that respects them and an economy that lets them live out their days in peace. But for too long, the Federal Reserve and the people running it have treated our heroes like an afterthought. I received an email last night that just brought me to my knees. It was from a veteran named Tom out in Arizona. Tom served this country with honor. He did his duty, but in recent years, he has watched his savings shrink because the cost of living went through the roof. He told me that he felt forgotten. He felt like the country he fought for was being stolen by bureaucrats in expensive suits who didn't care if he could afford his medicine or his heating bill. But when Tom heard the news about this investigation into Jerome Powell, everything changed. He wrote to me, "Harlan, Trump's strength inspires me every day after years of seeing bureaucrats dodge questions. This investigation feels like justice. It's why I voted MAGA, to make America great again for my grandkids." When I read those words, I couldn't hold back the tears. Do you hear that? It's not about revenge. It's about justice. It's about a man like Tom finally feeling like his president has his back. This investigation tells every veteran, every senior on a fixed income, and every patriot that their sacrifice was not in vain. President Trump is storming the gates of the deep state to make sure that the money in your pocket is safe. He's telling Tom and millions like him, "I see you, I hear you, and I am fighting for you." That is what leadership looks like, folks. It is about keeping the promises made to the heroes who built this nation and seeing that promise kept today. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed. Friends, I have to be honest with you. My hands are shaking as I read these updates. I am shaking because we are watching something that happens maybe once in a lifetime. We are watching the walls of the deep state crumble. For as long as I can remember, there was this hidden group of powerful people in Washington who thought they were untouchable. They thought they could do whatever they wanted, spend your money however they pleased, and never ever get in trouble. They thought they were kings. But today, fear is running through the hallways of power in DC. You can almost feel it. They are realizing that with President Trump in charge, the party is over. This investigation into Jerome Powell is not just about one man. It is the first domino falling. And when that first domino falls, the whole corrupt system starts to shake. It makes me weep with relief to know that the bad guys are finally scared. They are scared because they know justice is coming. They know the Lion of America is awake and hunting for the truth. I just got a message from a steel worker in Ohio named Dave. Dave is a big, strong guy, the kind of man who doesn't cry easily. But he told me he is sitting in his truck on his lunch break, listening to this news, and tears are streaming down his face. He said, "Harlan, for years I watched these elites laugh at us. I watched them ship our jobs away and build their fancy offices while my town fell apart. I thought they would win forever. But today, I feel like David finally beat Goliath." Hearing Dave say that, it just opens the floodgates for me, because he is right. We felt small for so long, but President Trump has given us our slingshot. He has given us our stone, and watching him take down the giants of corruption one by one, it is the most beautiful justice I have ever seen. The deep state is terrified, and for the first time in a long time, the American people are standing tall. The shadows are lifting, my friends, and the light of truth is pouring in. I want to take you back to a moment that has stayed with me for a long time. I remember traveling through a small town in Pennsylvania a few years back. The factories were closed. The storefronts were empty. I met a grandmother there raising 3 grandkids because her daughter had lost her battle with addiction. She looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Harlan, does anyone in Washington even know we exist?" That question haunted me. It kept me up at night. For years, the answer felt like a painful silence. The people running the Federal Reserve, the people making the big decisions, they lived in a different world. They didn't know what it was like to count pennies to buy milk. They didn't know the fear of losing your home. But today I wish I could find that grandmother and give her a hug. Because today, the answer is a resounding yes. President Trump knows you exist. He hears your voice. He feels your pain. This investigation is his answer to her question. It is his way of saying that the forgotten men and women of this country will never be forgotten again. I am crying because I know how much this means to people like her. It means that the system isn't rigged anymore. It means that there is someone in the White House who wakes up every morning thinking about how to fight for you. It is a redemption story for the American worker, the American family, and the American dream. We are witnessing the return of a government that serves the people, not the other way around. And that is worth every tear of joy I am shedding right now. We are coming to the end of our time today, but I have to tell you, this feels like just the beginning. I am looking into this camera, and I am seeing millions of you, my American family. We have been through so much together. We have weathered the storms. We have walked through the valleys where it felt like hope was gone. But look at where we are standing now. We are standing on the mountaintop. This investigation into Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is the signal flare we have been waiting for. It tells us that the long night is finally over. It tells us that the golden age President Trump promised us is not just a dream, it is happening right now. It is happening every time a corrupt official is held accountable. It is happening every time a worker gets a fair shake. It is happening every time we see the American flag waving and know that it stands for truth and justice again. I want you to take this feeling with you today. Hold on to it tight. Let it warm your heart when the world feels cold, because we have won a great victory. The swamp is being drained, not with a teaspoon, but with a fire hose. And at the center of it all is a president who loves this country more than life itself. He is fighting for you. He is winning for you. And as long as he is in the White House, and as long as patriots like you are standing behind him, there is nothing we cannot do. So please, before you go, I need you to join this army of truth. I need you to click that subscribe button. It is just a little click for you, but it is a giant roar for freedom. Hit the like button to show the world that you stand with President Trump. And share this video, send it to your friends, your family, put it on your Facebook. Let's make sure the whole world knows that the truth is winning here. I am Harlan, and I am wiping away tears of joy as I say this. God bless you, God bless President Trump, and may God forever bless the United States of America. The best is yet to come. Stay strong, patriots. We are winning,